Hey, welcome back. Last time we were together, we introduced the concept of the global heat engine. The global heat engine is something that moves energy around the surface of the Earth, and it explains a lot about why we have the climate patterns we do. Now, I asked you guys to start to work on your imaginary continents and try to put in the wind currents, the temperature, and moisture gradients on the continents. Now, you might be stuck, so you're tuning into this to get some hints. So one of the things you should be thinking about is Hadley cells. You've got to think about the Hadley cells on the Earth because you have to use something very similar on your continent. So what is the Hadley cell? On the Earth, the Hadley cell is located close to the equator. So the equator would be in here. And this is high in elevation versus low in elevation, high in elevation versus low in elevation. And what's going on near the equator is this is the location that a lot of sunlight is hitting, so you'd expect a lot of that turns into heat. Now once that turns into heat, it warms the air, so you'll have an air parcel here, which will expand. And because it expands, it rises. Okay? And you get low pressure here, high pressure as it goes up. Now, not only does it warm up here, but it brings in a lot of moisture. And as it rises in elevation, it gets higher and higher, it cools. Now, if something cools, especially air, it can't hold as much moisture, so you see a lot of rainfall here. Now, that's a hint that you can use on your continent. And it also tells us why we find tropical rainforests here. Now, the air is cooling, it's drying, and then it kind of gets pulled over on both sides of the equator. And then it starts to descend. Now, when it starts to descend, it warms up. And this happens about 30 degrees north and south of the equator. So now you have warming air that's dry, and that's where you find deserts. Okay? North and south, generally. Then the wind gets pulled back in toward low pressure, and it starts all over again. Now, some of these winds coming in, you might be familiar with the trade winds. Portuguese sailors use this quite a bit. And you have deserts in these regions, again, because the air is dry and hot, so you get high evapotranspiration. Now, think about how can you apply this concept to your continent to get an idea about how the winds move, where there might be rainfall, where there might not be rainfall, and your temperature gradients as well. All right, this is a kind of a cartoon of the globe, and you can see these Hadley cells on the map. And the Hadley cells aren't the only convection cells that you find on the Earth. There's Ferrel cells and maybe a polar cell up here. And these are important because these wind currents are carrying the energy from the equator to the poles. These are leaky. So this is one of the ways that this energy moves. So apply this to your continent. All right, so we'll stop there. We've got a few more clips to give you some more hints if you get stuck. But start with Hadley cells and see what you can do. Remember, wind blows from high pressure to low pressure. Okay? See you next time. Bye.